Alright, so what do we have so far? So far I have a small little SDL3 application, which it's divided into two parts, a little UI pane over here and a graphing pane over here. The graphing pane currently just graphs this sine wave from 0 to 20, I think. But eventually we'll change that to an interesting curve. And then over here currently all we're doing is laying out some boxes. The boxes don't have any interactivity at all, or any way to input, select, or any effect on the application, but that's what we're going to try and change. So I want to start with trying to get font rendering. These boxes should eventually contain text, and eventually might as well be today. The first thing that we'll need is to probably create more vertices to render. Yeah, because currently we have vertices for the entire box, but we don't have vertices for each character. I think we probably want vertices for each character, and then one of the attributes of that triangle, or the vertices of the square, I guess, will be the character. You know what, let's do it in that order. Let's first grab a font and then see what we need to do in order to render something from the font. We might do that manually and then slowly work our way back from there. So let's go grab a bitmap font. The ultimate old school PC font pack. Sounds good. Fonts from the, yeah, this one. Can I grab them? IBM BIOS, that looks alright, we can take that. Oh, 2x, that's big news. Okay, it's an actual format, it's not just a bunch of pixels. Are these meant to be font descriptions? Surely this isn't the actual font. How long are these lines? 3000, okay, it might be the actual font. Readme. What the fuck is that? Readme. RTB. Interesting. That's why there's so many formats. I guess there's something that's too simple, everyone invents their own format for it. Yeah, where's the documentation for it though? I wonder if I can just use something like free type. Oh, actually, I wonder if SDL can do this. That's a question. Always one FCP. Alright, do we have that header? Yeah, this doesn't look like the same format. 32-bit integers with the least significant. Oh. No, but this is char, so it should be one FCP, but all I see is the one. It's not even the right position. Okay, let's take a look at the Windows font files. I've seen them referenced before, so they might be common enough that we can use them instead of the Linux ones. The old .fon. Do we have IBM DOS? We do. And let's start with an MZ. Wait, are these actual programs? Yeah, just actually exe, which is what it looked like. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh my god, this is way messier than I thought it was going to be. It may actually be easier just to use a non-bitmap font. What about raw binary? Yeah, raw binary versions. Yes, that. You have some other project. Download includes most of these old school PC fonts in raw binary formats. With previews? Nah, just no previews. Just give me the raw fonts. I can. And what am I seeing here? I wonder if this is a bitmap. I wonder what format this is. This is maybe an underscore. every row is blank except the very last one. Okay, let's see if we can render this out just using ASCII. So where am I gonna do this? I guess that should work. So I'll need, okay. Yeah, so this is a heart. I don't know what this is meant to be. This is a diamond. That's a heart. Is it meant to be a spade and a club, maybe? Yeah, so these clearly are meant to be characters. Okay, so we can just easily read this file format. That's not very difficult. Now the question is, what's the best way to turn that into a texture? We'll put it under our shader flags. Okay, so let's have the unsigned char pointer font BMP, and we'll have size T font size, or font BMP size even. Okay, and then what we'll need is an SDL, I think it's SDL GPU texture, I think. Yeah, SDL GPU texture, and this will be our font. What else do we need? Alright, it looks like we have to use the transfer buffer for this, kind of lame, but we can do that. So what we'll need here is we'll need the sampler. So this will be sampler. Yes, an interesting question is how this is transferred to the GPU. What was sampling? The UI was sampling. So it's probably in render UI. We got our index buffers, push constants, descriptor set. Was it in the pre-render? Update descriptor sets. Right, there was just a function to do it. I guess there's just a function here as well, bind sampler or something. Yeah, bind fragment samplers. Okay, so there's just a function that does it. Alright, that's fine. We can live with that. So how much memory? We need st.st size, but we also need to record the font BMP size, like that. Okay. Then we need to read it. So if we go to character like 30, I think 30 is 0, maybe? No, clearly not. Or is it 30 hex? Is it 48? Yeah, that's a 0, that's a 1. Oh, they're backwards. Okay, let's see if this compiles. It doesn't. Texture supports sampling. Yep, 100%. That's what we want. The width. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. What is the width? Because we could just lay it out in one big row. Usually it's displayed on a grid, but I don't know if there's any reason to do that. Like, you might as well just have it in one big row. I don't know if there's any reason not to just put them in one big line. I don't think there is. So we can just go height is font BMP dot height, and then width is font BMP dot width times font BMP dot nchars. And then we need to bind, yeah, so we need to make a sampler, which will be here. Yeah, so we need this bad boy. Are samplers in binding 0? I can't remember. Create shader. Yeah, sample textures are first, okay. Yeah, so here I want to transfer, yeah, except it won't be a GPU buffer, it'll be GPU texture. Okay, and now we need to bind the... I guess we'll have to do that here. It's a little unpleasant to have all of our draw pass in this function, but then just have random stuff outside of it. But this is a case where the plotting window and the UI window are different from one another. Okay, will it blend? Apparently not. Couldn't stat font file? Right, because it's a... Yeah, okay, fair enough. So in which case, I want to copy fonts. Okay. Alright, triggered one time. For any texture cannot contain sampler for textures with an integer format. Yeah, why not though? For samplers, floating point samplers begin with sampler. Signed integer samplers begin with iSampler, and unsigned integer samplers with uSampler. Yeah, why not? It looks like I should be able to have cannot contain sampler for textures with an integer format. For sampler usage, the following formats are universally supported. Yeah. Oh, we can do R8 unorm. Didn't I try that? Ah, because it's not an integer, it's normalized. Okay. Well, we can do the unorm, that's fine. And I can figure out how normalized integers work. So we'll take this one. What did I call it? Is it just R8? Yeah, this one. We can do that. Now the thing is, I'm gonna have to figure out what to put in the integer. But we can do that later. Okay, it doesn't crash, that's nice. You'll love to see it. It's a vec2, probably, because it's a 2D image. What are we gonna render? Let's see if we can render a 0. So 48 times 8 and 0, I think. Okay, well that didn't work. that was a failure. Okay. We got something happening. I don't know why it's flickering though. I get that it's wrong. I don't have a problem with it being incorrect, but why is it flickering? I'm gonna have to do something in the vertex shader. It's not enough just to fuck around with the fragment shader, unfortunately. Though it does produce some interesting diagrams. And then we need to add on where we want to start T-pause. Oh shit. Uh-oh. 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 We're back. Are we? Oh my god. AMD GPU. The CS has been cancelled because the context is lost. AMD GPU crashed. That's pretty nice. Are we back? That was that was something else. Alright, I think we're back. I almost ran the program immediately again, just on reflex. Yeah, so that was wrong. That was definitely not correct. Let's get rid of that. Let's start with this. For size ti equals 0, I is less than font buff size I plus. We'll go font buff pointer I equals 255. Yeah, it's still just random crap. How about we do something even more basic than this? we just go fragment color equals texture sampler. Just sample from 0, 0. So it should be sampling from 0, 0 at every point. So what's wrong with my sampler? Funky. That's definitely not the color, though. Something like that. Get rid of that. Okay. That for once is something I was actually expecting. Oh shit, is it? Yes, maybe. And then we want to go character 48. So the first one here is 0. I think I'm kind of expecting color to be the 0, 1. No, I'm not. I changed it. Still not what I was expecting to see. So if we go 1, this should now all be on. It looks like it should be on to me. If we go 2. Well, that one's on. And the fragment position was what? Oh, it's between 0 and 1? Wow, that's big if that's true. Big if true, as they say. Alright, do we crash a 3rd time? We do not, but we just don't get anything. That's chill. I might have to throw in the towel for this one. I think there's clearly something I'm not seeing. And there's no point crashing my machine every 3rd recompile. I really hate to end a stream with a broken program though. It's a very lame way to end the stream. But I think I need to take a break, have something to eat, get some fresh eyes, and come back at this problem another day. And maybe it'll be just like the coordinate system transformation when I was working on the Vulkan driver, where the spherical coordinates, it was just like one character typo. And then when I came back to it, I just saw it immediately. I was like, this is the problem. Fixed it and moved on. Hopefully it'll be like that. It's always coordinate systems. There are too many implicit transformations between coordinate systems. And if you're in the wrong coordinate system, you're probably indexing out of bounds memory. Probably. And that sure will crash your program. Okay. So yeah, I think that'll be it for now. I think I'm gonna call it there and pick this up some other time.